very bland. And then she was just 90 hertz all of a sudden, saying, "He's out. You got to find him. He's out. He cannot last long."
And she said right now he's looking at blue skies and a big green rock. So, she was trying to give us an idea of where to go look for him. So, um, anyway, I got back in the car and went as fast as I could.
I was up on top of the mountain just
To the
south of where
camp.
we were.
Yeah.
Not a tall mountain, but 800 feet high, 1,000 feet high, something like that. And I'm looking down towards where Laurie went towards town, and I saw the forerunner coming at us, in the distance, and it was driving fast. And I thought, God, what is with my wife? I've never seen her drive that way. She was driving like a maniac.
Hello, everyone. It's been a while since I have aired an interview, and I've really missed all of you. I've been busy. I'm getting certified in animal communication now and doing a lot of traveling and this and that. So today, I am back on the air officially, and I'm excited to start this new era with Laurie and Eric Kirkland. And please write in and tell me any stories that you may have that you might want to come in and share with the audience. But Laurie and Eric, actually, I went over and did a little animal communication thing for their darling dog, which I hope we see, Rowdy, and it's Rowdy's birthday today, 2 years old. So,
Right.
yeah, where is Rowdy? Why don't you just
Come
like
here.
show
Ready?
him?
Yeah.
No, he will
Okay.
come.
Yeah, yeah. So we live in Southern Cal, and they live right down from me. And that the animal Rowdy was the one that inspired this conversation, this experience. There he is. Hi, baby.
Boy,
Our little Jack Russell.
our little 2-year-old.
Horrible. So as we were talking, Rowdy inspired this conversation about something that happened with a psychic 40 years ago. And just like near-death experiences and spiritual transformative, it was almost like yesterday for Laurie and Eric, which is always amazing. So welcome to the program, Laurie and Eric.
Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Marla.
you. This is fun.
Yes, it is fun. It's going to be great.
We're going to lose a day of 40 years ago.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not unusual on this program. So
Huh.
so anyway, yeah, why don't you briefly introduce yourself and then just tell us what happened?
Okay. Well, I'll start off and then Lori can take over and run with
Great.
the beginnings of all this stuff. But my name's Eric Kirkland, married to Lori, and we live up at Victoria Cove in Laguna Beach. And we've been in our house now almost coming on 44 years.
Mm.
And I think we'll stay a while longer. And been a great place. And we've raised 3 dogs here. And the first one was Jesse James. Second one was Frank James. We even had Calamity Jane in there for a while. And now we have Rowdy Wildman. So anyway, and we've always enjoyed our dogs. They've been like our children, and we train them and we look after them, and they're very important to us. They're a big, big part of our lives. So anyway,
Well, you're going to start
Am
about
I?
us camping. Yeah.
okay, and so I've always pretty much grown up outdoors, backpacking, camping, hiking. Uh, you name it in the outdoors. And so I've typically brought the puppies, with me. And Jesse was no different. And we had just picked up this new Toyota 4Runner truck. And I took a picture of Lori leaning out the window. She was still in the bed in the back. She was in the window. And then Jesse was sitting right outside on the dirt looking at me, and I snapped that picture. And that was the last we saw him because within an hour he disappeared. And we were in the Calico Mountains and beyond the Calico ghost town. And it's an area that I've gone to all the way through college and past then and gone camping. It's reasonably close and it's fun. We explore and all that. and have good campfires. And so I took that picture, and all of a sudden we realized he was gone. Ah, where did he go? I mean, he was a dog that would take off on us. He stuck with us. And so we started looking and looking, and we couldn't find him. We couldn't find the boy. And
That was probably a Saturday, I think. So I think we looked all day Saturday, and
mostly Sunday.
I think we were cooking bacon and putting bacon grease around, trying to, entice him back for food,
And we came back up in the middle of the week too, and did the same thing, cooked bacon and spread it around the campsite, to entice them.
So I think we came home brokenhearted. This was, we didn't have kids yet. This was our child.
Yeah.
So we came home and we called the animal shelter out there, the Bureau of Land Management.
The Marine base, the Marine base is located there too.
We put ads out on the radio. We made flyers. Our parents both offered a $500 reward.
Oh,
And 40 years ago, that was a lot of money.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we continued to pray that he would come back. And like Eric mentioned, we went back midweek. We left our jobs midweek to go back and to search for him again. We drove through neighborhoods, posted the flyers.
Talk to people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Convenience stores, anybody we could talk to. Have you seen a dog?
Yeah. Yeah.
And just to think about the emotional toil you were going through.
Yeah,
Just not the unknowing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was rough. Yeah.
Leanne.
Okay, so
Yeah.
then we ultimately came home on Sunday. We lost him on Saturday and came home the following day in the evening. And my cousin Leanne happened to be driving by, and she saw me. And she and I have been very close through our lives. And she took one look at me, and she put on the brakes, and she got out and said, "What is wrong?" And I said, "We lost Jesse." And oh gosh. So anyway, she dug in. She went in and called her secretary, who knew a dog psychic. And I'm just going, and whatever. What can I say? Oh yeah, I used one this morning, And so ultimately I got on the phone, called this woman, this dog psychic, and she said to me, "Well, explain to me what happened, where you are, where you were, and stuff like that." And I said, "Well, we were out in the open desert, and this is just wide open desert. I mean, it's not next to a 7-Eleven or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bleak." And I said to her that, well, was sitting there looking at him, and then he disappeared from underneath the truck. And she stopped me and she goes, "No." I'm going, "What?" And she says, "It's not a truck, it's a station wagon." Who are you to tell me I just bought this thing 2 weeks ago? It's a truck that Toyota converted once they brought it here into the United States, and they put the interior and the soft shell on it and blah, blah. And it's a truck. No, she insisted. We went back and forth on that. And she finally said to me, "And it's blue." It was blue.
Yes.
And I raised my hand, started clicking my finger at Laurie. She was on the other side of the living room here. And I said, "Put on the phone." Oh, gosh. And she said, "He's contained. He can't get out. He needs you. And he stopped hearing your voices, because after a day, he couldn't hear us anymore. And what we suspect was that a little ridge over from where we were staying, I mean, little ridge, within 100 yards type thing. And there was a mine shaft that was dug too close to stream bed coming out of the mountain, or what is a runoff bed. And so that it just collapsed, and there was a big hole, probably about 10 feet across, in the middle of this wash. And I saw that, and I thought, God, I'm not getting in that thing. And I go in mine; they don't really bother me. But that one, I said no. And we suspected that he fell into that, and so he couldn't get out. I mean, I saw it, and I said, I might not be able to get out of that thing, and let alone a little dog. And so we kept looking and looking, and I noted that place where it was. And, it's about all I could say. And so then we went home, and we did more homework, and we went back.
We went back that next weekend,
Yeah.
and
We had more friends come out.
we had friends come out, and there were more people than we'd seen before in that area because they probably saw the flyers for the $500 reward.
I've been going up there
Yeah.
since college, and
Yeah.
it's always a very sleepy, rarely see anybody type place.
Right.
And I've never seen that many people in one location out there.
Yeah.
And so they were looking.
So this is a week later. We figured he's not with us anymore. And Eric figured, I want to find his collar. Maybe there's fur somewhere, there were coyotes out there, so he was looking in coyote dens and looking down mine shafts. And I was 3 months pregnant at the time. So I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to raise this kid by myself?
Gee, you think I heard about that one?
So we decided to call the psychic one last time. And 40 years ago, there weren't cell phones. So I went out of Calico and went to a shopping center for a payphone. And I contacted the psychic, and she screamed, he's out, he has found his way out. You've got to find him.
She was always very benign and a
Yeah.
monotone type voice,
Right.
very bland. And then she was just 90 hertz all of a sudden,
Yeah.
saying he's out. You got to find
Yeah.
him. He's out. He cannot last long.
And she said, right now he's looking at blue skies and a big green rock. So, she was trying to give us an idea of where to go look for him. So, anyway, I got back in the car and went as fast as I could.
I was up on top of the mountain just south of where we were.
Yeah.
Not a tall mountain, but 800 feet high, 1,000 feet high, something like that. And I'm looking down towards where Laurie went towards town, and I saw the forerunner coming at us, in the distance, and it was driving fast. And I thought, God, what is with my wife? I've never seen her drive that way. She was driving like a maniac. And so I just took off back down the side of the hill and ran all the way down to where we camped. And just then Laurie pulled into where I had just run down to. And Laurie was hysterical, and she said the same thing. He's out, he's out. My friends Larry and Rita from college were there. And Larry said to me, well, we had looked everywhere 180 degrees to the west where he disappeared. And Larry said, let's look east. So we did. We jumped in the forerunner, the blue forerunner,
Yes.
the blue truck. And we drove a little bit east, and we're just winding through these little washes. And I got to one little canyon. I thought, no, I don't go up there. And I went to the next little one, and this thing is all of maybe 12 feet wide. I mean, it's nothing. It's not where you bring an automobile, but I did. And so I had it 4-wheel drive, and we bounced our way up through this wash and up on a ridge. And I was stopping there, and there's 6'5" Larry sitting in the shotgun seat. And then there was Laurie behind him, and then Rita, Larry's wife, was behind me. And she was always meek and mild, just quiet. That's fine. But Rita, suddenly, when I came up to this stop on this little ridge, just shrilled, there he is. I see him. He's out.
Oh my God.
And I looked and I saw the underside of
The
his
white.
chin and
Yeah.
chest, the white.
Yeah.
And so I jumped out of the car. Laurie pushed the ejector seat button and nearly put 6'5" Larry through the windshield.
Oh,
I wanted
we're
out.
so
I wanted to find
excited.
my boy.
And
Yeah.
the two of them bailed out. I bailed out. And the problem I had and that I did is that I forgot to take it out of gear and shut off the engine. So I have friends and family blah, 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 on the road without a driver.
Wow.
So I jumped back in and stopped it. So
Did he
anyway,
come running towards you, or he must have been a little startled?
No, he was afraid, I think.
Yeah,
our
yeah.
voices were
We were
different.
screaming. We were so excited. He wasn't hearing
Right.
our voices. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. So anyway, he circled around and he came to Larry. Larry was the calm one of the bunch.
Yeah.
And picked him up and held him. And then we went to him and held him and stuff. And he was as clean as the day he got out of the bathtub.
That's amazing.
So that tells us that he was contained
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah.
And then he had membranes growing over half of his eyes. And that meant he was contained in the dark somewhere.
For a week,
For
For a
7
week.
days.
7 days.
So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
putting it all together confirmed to us that yes, he was contained somehow and probably in a mine, and it could very well have been in that hole that I found that he got into and couldn't get out.
Right.
His nose and his paws were a little muddy. I think, he had probably, maybe
His pads were worn on the
Right.
tried
front.
to get out somehow, or maybe there was a little bit of water in there that he was able to survive.
Yeah, yeah.
Not sure.
So
I
did
know.
you guys, thanks so much for sharing that story. Had you ever been to a psychic, or did you even really understand the whole, what they would do or anything?
Well, and she said, I am gonna talk through Jesse. I'm gonna see what he's seeing. I'm gonna talk to him. And yeah, that's nothing we had ever thought about before.
Well, what was
We were
amazing,
desperate.
what
Yes,
was
yes.
amazing after that is when Laurie came barreling up the canyon in the truck and we met at the camp and stuff. And Laurie said, he's out, doesn't have long, and he's next to a big green rock. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're up on this little ridge, and that's when we saw him and we all got out and took care of business there.
Yeah.
And after everything had settled down and before we turned around and left to go back to where we were camping, I looked around and there were lots of mines up in that area, but there was one mine in particular that was almost within stone's throw of where we found him, that all the tailings were green.
That was our big green rock.
That
Yeah.
was the big green rock that the psychic
Yeah,
kid had
yeah.
called out.
And blue sky above.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we brought him back to the camp where we didn't, it's not a camp, it was a
Middle of
dry
nowhere.
wash. Yeah. And we put him in the back of the truck. I think even Larry's truck was there, and put him in the back of Larry's truck, and he just crawled into the back near the cab where all these pillows and blankets were, and he just buried himself.
Oh my
I think we
God.
called the vet and said, do we feed him? What do we do? And the vet said, no, just give him water.
Right, right. 'Cause he had-
And then bring him in when you come home. But I think what was interesting is we couldn't figure out why Jesse ran off, and the psychic said that he saw a rabbit and went running after a rabbit, and then boom, fell into a hole. So
Yeah.
she had a lot of,
She hit right on
Yeah.
some things.
Yeah.
Others things we
You
were
found him.
Yeah.
and he lived, what, 10, 12 more years,
Yeah.
So
he had a
yeah.
long life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did that experience, if you've dove any deeper into the whole psychic medium world at all, has it made you curious or?
Yes. To me, yes. More so me than Laurie.
Yeah.
And that's when sometime after that is when sorry, Rowdy.
Rowdy is playing
He's
the ball.
playing. Is when I jumped on an airplane, flew to New York, and sat on the stage with a known psychic, John Edward. And he came up with things that will make your jaw hit the table.
Yeah.
That will be another story for us.
Yes.
However, yes, to answer your question, I did. And I never looked at it as satanic or evil or anything like that. I felt this guy has an ability and he sees things and he shares it with people. And that's how I see it. It's pretty innocent and straightforward, I think.
Yeah. It's interesting because as I've had a lot of people on this podcast talk about those kinds of things. And if you really do dive into the stories and the research and all of these experiences like you're talking about that you had, it's just, at a point it's like I give up. There's something more, in the future. And I believe that we all have that ability. It's just being present,
Yes.
tuning in, and really, and that it's one reason I love working with children is that they're so connected and they're just really connected with that invisible world. But
Uh,
anyway, thank you so much for sharing your story. And
yes.
you'll have to come back and talk about John Edwards. How did this experience change you at all?
Yeah.
In what way?
I mean, we are who we are. We're good people. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And we looked at Jesse as our child,
Mm,
and we were going to do everything within
Yeah.
our power to find him.
Yeah.
And until I found anything on him, a collar or something like that, knowing the environment he was in,
Yeah.
we weren't going to give up.
Mm.
It just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And friends came out because they knew Jesse and they
Yeah.
liked him too. And we had multiple friends out there spending nights with us.
wow.
By the way, the psychic got the $500.
We sent it to her.
We sent her the money. We thought
She
she was the one that,
she never asked for it.
yeah, no.
You didn't mention the $500, I don't think.
Well, the $500 we put
As a
flyers
reward.
up. A reward, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, she
But
was,
that wasn't
we
something
found him, so
we flaunted with her.
yeah.
But
yeah,
she
not
was
charged.
very instrumental
Yes.
in us
Yeah.
finding him
And
and
giving us hope.
giving us hope,
Yeah.
keeping us going, pushing us forward, and to bring the boy home.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah, very thankful.
And
Amazing story.
It
Yeah,
was
amazing story. And
attached to John Edwards and also to Jesse and to your questions. I'll say this, that twice has happened sitting in our garage, and I was working very long hours starting a second business, and I was out there, and I kept seeing on the TV this guy John Edward. So I wrote them a letter. Dear John, my father just died. I want to know how he's doing, period. So they invited me. They bought the hotel for me that night and everything. But sitting out there in that garage was my doghouse, and I was always in it. And it was just
Because
where
you wanted to be.
I lived, and my income came out of that garage. And so sitting there at, I think both about 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning each time, I was sitting there and it was quiet, no music, no nothing going on. And all of a sudden I felt this, a hand on my shoulder. It was Dad.
yeah,
It was my father.
you knew it.
And then another time after that, and they were 8 years apart and dying, I think.
7 or 8 years.
Yeah. Another time out there again in the garage, same chair. And all of a sudden I smelled Mom.
Mm,
Her perfume. Yeah.
yeah, beautiful.
Mothers always have a scent.
They always
So anyway, I think everybody has these abilities. I think most people, a high percentage of them, don't realize it or don't understand it, don't even think of it, but it's really very fascinating. And I think I have some connection to that. So I try and pay attention to it.
Yeah. Well, that is really beautiful, and you'll have to come back and tell us more about the John Edwards story.
Yes, I'd love to.
Yeah.
But
We'll
before we
set a
wrap it
time.
up, would you like to say anything? Did I not ask you something, or do you have anything else you'd like to say?
No, it was a positive experience, you
very,
know.
very frightening, but positive.
Yeah.
And just, if you put your head down and you're convicted, you can have accomplishments. And that was a great accomplishment against all the odds.
Yeah. Amazing.
Amazing. He should have been,
Yeah.
captured by the coyotes or
Yes.
something.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and the psychic even said he heard the coyotes at night, he was scared.
yeah. And he was a very social dog.
Yeah.
When we'd walk him on the
Oh,
hood,
yeah.
very social, happy with other dogs and all people. And when we take him out after that on walks, he became openly vicious towards other animals if a dog
For a
got too
time.
close to him. And that lasted probably several weeks
Yeah.
before he finally calmed down.
Yeah.
So he had some scary negative experiences with other dogs
Yeah.
out in the desert, and those were the coyotes,
Yeah.
because he definitely let all the dogs here know, you stay away from me.
Mhm.
And they did.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and happy birthday, Rowdy.
Yes, thank you for having
thanks,
us.
Marla. Yeah.
Welcome, and have a
That
good rest of the day, and we'll be in touch about
Okay.
the next little story.
That's
Sounds good.
terrific. And I'll
Okay.
make more notes on that one. That one's pretty just as wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks
Hang on.
so much, guys.
All righty, be
you.
well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.